Okay, so let us try to continue further. लास्ट क्लास में हमने फिनॉल तक का पढ़ लिया था, ठीक है. Now here they have given an example. This question we have to discuss, and then we have to move on to the named reactions. So let us try to solve this example 11.5. Write the structures of major products expected from the following reactions: mononitration of 3-methylphenol. So what is 3-methylphenol? First let us try to draw 3-methylphenol. So what is 3-methylphenol? 3-methylphenol is this. Okay, so they have taken phenol as a main compound, and then on the third position they have added the CH3 unit. And now what we have to do is we have to do mononitration. So mononitration is done, it can be done in the presence of HNO3, H2, so 4. So we know that when more than one substituents are attached on the benzene ring, then the orientation of the incoming group is decided with respect to the more electron donating group. So we know that OH is more electron donating group as compared to CH3. How? Because OH donates electrons through resonance effect, whereas CH3 donates electrons through hyperconjugation effect. So here we can see that, say that this OH group will decide where the NO2 will attach. So we know that OH is ortho-para directing. So para position with respect to OH is this, and ortho position with respect to OH is this one. So the nitration will occur on these two positions. So hence it has shown the product this and this one. Okay, so now let us go on B, dinitration of 3-methylphenol. So how will we do dinitration of 3-methylphenol? So dinitration of 3-methylphenol will occur at ortho and para positions. So here they have attached nitro group and ortho and para positions in 3-methylphenol. The concept we know that OH is the ortho para directing group, hence the dinitration occurs at both the ortho and para positions. Now some of you may ask why this nitration was not done here, because then the product that would form, it would have groups attached to three consecutive benzene in three adjacent carbon atoms. Hence that would become sterically very unfavorable. Okay, that is why we do not added the nitration on the carbon atom which is in the middle of OH and CH3. Okay, so due to steric repulsion that was not done. Okay, so now let us try to move on the next example, mononitration of phenyl methanoate. So the thing with phenyl methanoate is that in phenyl methanoate, what we have done, I'll try to explain this. So the compound that is given to you is this one, okay, and we have to do the mononitration, है ना. So when we will do the mononitration, we know that this group will be orthopara directing. Why it will be orthopara directing? Because this OH, this lone pair of the oxygen atoms, can be donated to the benzene ring, है ना. So because this is a bulky group, so the nitration will occur at the para position, है ना. Why it will occur at the para position? Because then the steric repulsion will be least, hence they have shown this product. Okay, now let us try to focus on the Kolbe's reaction. So Kolbe's reaction is very easy, it's not very tough reaction. Kolbe's reaction is important. Why? I will tell after explaining the reaction. So let us try to explain this reaction ki how it occurs. So we have phenol. Okay, we are doing Kolbe's reaction. Kolbe's reaction. So what happens in Kolbe's reaction is that I have a phenol, ठीक है, and I treat it with a base, ठीक है. The base usually is a hydroxide base, तो NaOH, KOH कुछ भी use कर सकता है. So it will lead to the formation of sodium phenoxide. We know, अभी I have already told you कि भाई phenol on treating with NaOH or sodium leads to sodium phenoxide formation. Okay, now this sodium phenoxide is made to attack on CO2, So this attack occurs through the carbon atom. So let me try to draw these pi electrons in a different orientation like this, है ना. So what will happen is when this negative charge will move, these electrons, these pi electrons, they will actually attack on the carbon atom, and this bond will move on oxygen atom. So what will happen is that the product formed will be something like this, O double bond, and then through this carbon atom you will be attached to C double bond O minus, and then you will have these double bonds as well, है ना. अब now I know कि भैया now the benzene ring has lost its aromaticity, so we have to regain that aromaticity. How do we regain that aromaticity? This hydrogen, this is actually this can actually undergo tautomerism. So when it moves down, this bond moves up, है ना, and the product formed would be something like this कि भैया here we have these pi electrons, this is OH, and this is C double bond O minus. So what will happen is when you will protonate it, है ना, जब आप इसको protonate करोगे, so here they have shown that in second step you add proton, है ना. So when you will protonate it, this carboxylic acid group, it will get protonated, है ना, it will lead to protonation of this group. So what is the product formed? The name of the product is salicylic acid, ठीक है. अब if you have watched my previous videos, है ना, I have told you how to make aspirin from this salicylic acid, है ना. This I have because this reaction was there in 2-3 pages back, I think, है ना. So if you treat this compound with AC2O, AC2O is acetic anhydride. If you treat it with acetic anhydride, you will get acetyl salicylic acid, which is aspirin, ठीक है ना. So this much you should know कि what is Kolbe's reaction. Kolbe's reaction is nothing, just the treatment of phenol in basic medium with CO2, which leads to the formation of salicylic acid, which can be treated further to give you aspirin, ठीक है. So this is it. Now let us try to move on the next slide. So this is a very important reaction also. This not only through your board's point of view, it is also important in JEE and NEET. Okay. So now let us try to move on Riemer-Tiemann reaction. Okay, Riemer-Tiemann reaction. The Riemer-Tiemann reaction is also very easy, है ना. Riemer-Tiemann reaction is also very easy. So here what we do is that we take a phenol and then we treat it with chloroform aqueous NaOH, है ना. They can also use KOH, है ना. So one of the things that I will tell you here is that this same reagent, है ना, CHCl3 and aqueous NaOH, this is also used in carbylamine test, है ना. If you have read amines, if you're not read amines, then don't worry about it, है ना. I will tell when I'll teach amine. But this CHCl3 and KOH or CHCl3 and NaOH, these are used for carbylamine test also, है ना, in amines, ठीक है. So we'll see it there. So now one of the reactions that you must know is how CHCl3 and NaOH react, ठीक है ना. तो what happens is कि भाई this is CHCl3, this is CHCl3. So this CHCl3 when it reacts with KOH or in fact as a matter of fact any base, what it does is that it abstracts this OH minus abstracts the proton and it leads to the formation of this carbon ion, है ना. What happens is this once this leaves, it leads to the formation of dichlorocarbene, ठीक है. So this question can be directly asked, है ना, कि what is the intermediate of Riemer-Tiemann reaction. So the intermediate of Riemer-Tiemann reaction is dichlorocarbene, ठीक है. Here this acts as a intermediate. So now what will happen is that this phenol ring, it will attack on this intermediate. So let us try to make that. Okay, I will draw the orientation in the other way. Why I draw the orientation in the other way is because I have to write on the right hand side. Okay, so it does not matter wherever you draw it, ठीक है. So this is your dichlorocarbene. So again the attack will occur through the carbon atom, and once it will attack here, the product formed would be something like this. You will have C double bond O, and then you will have C 2 chlorine atom and then one negative charge, है ना. So and these pi electrons. Okay, so now again we see that the benzene ring has lost its aromaticity. So here what happens is that this negative charge, it actually abstracts this proton, है ना. The carbon that is attached to it has a proton with it. So the negative charge attracts this proton. What happens is that these electrons move back into the ring and these electrons move back on oxygen atom. So what happens is the product formed is somewhat like this. Okay, where you have CHCl2, and then you have this OH group and the benzene ring has got its aromaticity back. So what happens now is that we know that here we have 2 chlorine atoms. So a substitution reaction will occur through the OH minus, है ना. So what this OH minus will do, it will attack on the carbon atom, on the benzylic carbon atom. So let me try to draw it in a different way. This is your Cl, this is your H, and this is your another Cl. Okay, so this OH minus, what it will do, it will attack on this and this Cl will release. So what happens is the product formed would be something like this, OH, and then you would get C HCl OH. Okay, so we know that once this electron moves here, है ना, what will happen is that this leaving group, this chlorine will leave. So what it will lead to, it will lead to this. So you will obtain a carbonyl carbon atom, है ना. You have OH and then you have C double bond O and then you have H, ठीक है. So this is the product that is formed. ठीक है. So this much you should remember कि भाई how this reaction is actually occurring, है ना. So okay, so one thing that I should not have done here, I have added this proton, although the product will get protonated, but let me try to remove this. Okay, I will make this negative charge, है ना, and then once it has attacked, this has left, this will be negative charge, and I will remove this as well, and then once it is attached, OH moved, then here we will have OH positive charge. Okay, and then you have this negative charge. So what will happen is that it can abstract this proton. ठीक है ना. What will happen is that it can abstract the proton, and once the proton is abstracted, you can form the product, है ना. This is the salicylaldehyde, which is the product that is formed. Okay, so now you must remember that in case of coal-based reaction, you are obtaining salicylic acid, and in case of Riemann-Tiemann reaction, you are obtaining salicylaldehyde. Okay, so this is very important. ठीक है. Here what we have done is that we first made a carbene intermediate, है ना. We made dichlorocarbene intermediate, and the benzene ring or the phenol ring, it actually attacked through its ortho position on the dichlorocarbene. Now let us move on this reaction. Here it is a simple reaction कि भैया phenol is treated with zinc, and it leads to the reduction of the phenol ring. So this is also very important because sometimes it gives you 2-3 reactions, and then you have to predict the product, है ना. So there this reaction may be asked. Then you also have to remember this reaction कि the oxidation of phenol in the presence of Na2Cr2O7 where the chromium is present in +6 oxidation state. So we know that chromium in +6 oxidation state acts as a oxidizing agent, so it will get oxidized into benzoquinone, है ना. Same reaction can also be done with hydroquinone, है ना. What is hydroquinone? Hydroquinone is this. Same reaction can also be done with hydroquinones, ठीक है. This will also get converted to benzoquinone, sorry. All right, now let us try to focus on these in-text questions, है ना, and try to solve them. 11.6, give the structure of the products you would expect when each of the following alcohols reacts with this. Okay, so first they have given you butane 1-ol. Okay, so I have butane 1-ol, and they are asking me कि भैया react it with HCl and ZnCl2. HCl, ZnCl2. So we know that this is Lucas reagent, and what will happen is that it will lead to the formation of your this product, है ना. So these chloro alkyl halides, है ना, these alkyl chlorides, they are actually turbid in nature, है ना. They are actually turbid in nature, and we know that this is a 1-degree alcohol. So we know that here these 1-degree alcohols, they do not give turbidity quite easily. So here we have to heat this reaction, है ना. So after heating we will obtain the turbidity, ठीक है. Until unless you do not heat, I don't think कि turbidity will be that fast, है ना. Because why? Because the alcohol that we have is 1-degree alcohol. If they would have had given you a 3-degree alcohol, the turbidity would have been quick, है ना. It would have been instantaneous. Now let us try to react this 1-butanol with HBr. So once you treat it with HBr, we know that carbocation formation will occur, है ना. First carbocation formation will occur. We know that OH will get protonated, it will leave carbocation formation will occur. Now what we will do, we will do 1,2 hydride shift, है ना, because we know that whenever carbocations are formed, they will undergo rearrangement, है ना. So I am not going into details of rearrangement. Why? Because I have already made a video on that. So if you do not know it, just go and watch it. Now I have this Br minus which will attack on this carbocation, and it will lead to the formation of your 2-bromobutane. Okay. Now let us try to react this with SOCl2. So SOCl2 reaction also I have taught you in the previous chapter only. So here we know that the product form would be, you know, Cl will attach here, and then you will also obtain SO2 and HCl. Okay, so we know this reaction. This I have already told you in the previous chapter. Okay, so these are the products formed. Now it is asking me to react 2-methyl butane 2-ol. 2-methyl butane 2-ol. This is 2-methyl butane 2-ol. Okay, so when it will react with this HCl, ZnCl2, so here the you know, your turbidity will be very fast. The product formed would be this, है ना, and it will be turbid quickly. Now what if I react it with HBr? So here rearrangement will not occur. Why? Because once the carbocation forms, है ना, that carbocation would be very stable. Okay, so that is why we do not rearrange the product here, है ना. and this Br minus will attack, and once the Br minus attacks on this, the product formed would be this one. Okay, now what if it reacts with SOCl2? So SOCl2 also we know कि भैया OH will be replaced by Cl, and the product formed would be this one, Cl, and we will have and we will have SO2 and HCl. Okay, so these are the products that will be formed. Okay, so we must know that Lucas test is primarily used to distinguish between 1 degree, 2 degree and 3 degree alcohols, which is this, है ना? This is Lucas reagent. Okay, now let us try to move on the second question. Predict the major product of the acid catalyzed dehydration of 1-methyl cyclohexanol. 1-methyl cyclohexanol. So the 1-methyl cyclohexanol is this one, 1-methyl cyclohexanol, this. Okay, now we have to dehydrate it. So how does dehydration work? We know that we heat it when we heat alcohols in H2SO4, है ना, which is acidic medium, it will undergo your elimination product, है ना. So I have already told you कि भैया alcohols first try to form your carbocation. So once it will get protonated, this OH will get protonated, it will leave and it will lead to the formation of this carbocation. Now one important thing here is that as we have to do elimination, we need to make the most stable alkene, and we know that here this hydrogen can also be released, this hydrogen can also be released, and this hydrogen can also be released to form your alkene. Now I will remove this proton only. Why? Because the alkene formed will be most stable one, and the product obtained would be this one, है ना. All the other alkenes that you will form, है ना, they will have actually this one and this proton, these are same, है ना. तो don't confuse with it कि हाँ भाई ये वाला भी तो हटा सकते थे, ये यही क्यों हटाया. The alkene formed will be same, you cannot remove this one. Okay, so the distinguishing is between the distinguishing you have to do is between these two protons and this proton. Okay, because if you remove these pink protons, है ना, the product obtained would be same. Okay, the number of alpha hydrogens here is more than what you would have obtained when you would have removed this blue colored this blue circled proton. Okay, so here the alpha hydrogen, these are 3 and 7 alpha hydrogen actually, है ना. So this alkene is more stable, so we can say that this is the Saidzev elimination product. Saidzev elimination product, ठीक है. This is not the Hoffman one, whereas if you draw the Hoffman product, it would be this, है ना. This would be your Hoffman product, which would of course be minor. Why? Because the alkene formed is not that stable. Okay, let us try to move on the next example. Predict the major product. हाँ ठीक है. I have butane 1-ol. And I need to dehydrate it. So once I treat it with H plus and I heat it, I know that it will lead to formation of this carbocation. What will happen is it will undergo 1,2 hydrate shift, because I know कि भैया these carbocations, they can undergo rearrangement. So once it will undergo rearrangement, it will lead to formation of this carbocation. Now what I can do is that I can remove this proton, है ना. Once I remove this proton, the product formed would be this one, है ना. What would have happened if I removed this proton, है ना? That would have been wrong. Why? Because that would lead to a less substituted alkene, है ना, or a less stable alkene. So this is the major product, ठीक है, or Saidzev product. Okay, now next question is ortho and para nitrophenols are more acidic than phenols. Draw the resonance. So this you can do, है ना. I have already taught you this कि भाई when we had that table अभी in I think in the previous lecture, or I don't remember, it's I think in lecture 3, है ना, where I have told you why phenols are actually less acidic as compared to nitrophenols. There I have also drawn the resonating structure, and I have told you कि if you have ortho and nitrophenols, then the conjugate base formed would be more stable. Why? Because nitro group will stabilize that phenoxide ion. Okay, so that is the reason why these are more acidic, and you can draw these resonating structures, है ना. There's nothing. Write the equations involved in the following reaction. Riemann-Tiemann reaction अभी just we have done, and Kolbe's reaction also just we have done, है ना. अच्छा, there is one important thing कि do not get confused between Kolbe's reaction and Kolbe's electrolysis reaction, है ना. So these are two different reactions. Kolbe's electrolysis is when you electrolyze your sodium salt of carboxylic acids to obtain your alkanes. Okay, so that is quite different from this one. Okay, now this is some general knowledge type portion here. So here we have to remember some of the points, that methanol is known as wood spirit, है ना. So it is usually obtained by hydrogenating or reducing this carbon monoxide in the presence of your ZNO and Cr2O3 compound, your catalyst, and that leads to the formation of your methanol. Okay, so you must also remember one thing कि भाई methanol is not what people drink, है ना. People drink ethanol. Okay, people do not drink methanol. Okay, so drinking methanol is actually very harmful, है ना. It can cause blindness and may also lead to death. Okay, so ethanol, how about ethanol? So ethanol is actually commercially obtained by fermentation, है ना. And here we have to remember these 2 points, invertase and zymase. What are the functions of these enzymes? So we know that these are enzymes. What are enzymes? Enzymes are biocatalysts, है ना. Those proteinaceous structures or those proteins which actually act as a catalyst in your biochemical systems are known as enzymes. So what is the role of invertase? It converts sucrose into glucose and fructose, है ना. So why it is known as invertase? It is known as invertase because the optical rotation, it actually gets inverted after this reaction. So I will teach you this in biomolecules, ki what is invertase and what is inversion. Okay, zymase. So what is the role of zymase? Zymase actually leads to the conversion of glucose or fructose into your ethanol, and it also leads to the formation of the CO2. Okay, so one thing that you must also remember is that fermentation takes place in anaerobic conditions. Anaerobic conditions, that is absence of your air, है ना, and carbon dioxide is released during the fermentation. So this is something that you have to remember. And then you also have to remember this point, this denaturation, है ना. So once commercial alcohols are synthesized, they are made unfit to drink because they can be used negatively, or that product can be exploited by some people. So they make it unfit to drink, and what they do is that they sometimes add copper sulfate, which gives it a color, or they add pyridine, which is a foul smelling liquid, and this leads to the denaturation of your alcohol. So that is not consumed. Okay, now let us try to move on this reaction, this dehydration of alcohols to form ether. So we have arrived on ethers now. So the thing with ether is that how ether is, first of all, ether is one of the least reactive compounds in organic chemistry, है ना. So for that reason, it is usually used as a solvent, है ना. For in the reactions you would have seen कि भैया, for example, in Wood's reaction, what happens is that we use sodium, and then we use dry ether, है ना. So there we were using this dry ether as a solvent, है ना. Somewhere you might have also seen this compound. This is THF, है ना. THF is also regularly used as a solvent. So these are quite frequently used as solvents, but here we are focused on how we synthesize these ethers. So here I have this 1 degree alcohol, and I have treated it with H2SO4 at 2 different temperatures, a lower temperature and a higher temperature. So I know that alcohols, when they are heated, we have done ki elimination reactions of alcohol take place in acidic medium, and when we heat that alcohol in acidic medium. So here what they have done is that they have heated this 1 degree alcohol at 443 Kelvin in the presence of H2SO4. It leads to dehydration, and it leads to the formation of alkene. So one more reaction can occur, but that reaction will occur at lower temperature, and it will lead to the formation of your ether. So this method is actually not very helpful. Why? Because it can lead to a mixture of products, है ना. भाई, always the aim of a reaction is to obtain one product in exclusive amount, है ना. But here what you are doing is that you are doing this reaction and you are obtaining 2 different products, है ना. So let us try to look at this how we form this ether product, है ना. How this ether product is formed. They have written the mechanism. So I have this alcohol. What you do is that you protonate it, है ना. It will get protonated. So I have already told you कि भैया OH on protonation converts into a good leaving group. What will happen once it becomes a good क्या कहते हैं leaving group? Another molecule of the alcohol will attack on this carbon atom, and this leaving group will leave. So what it will lead? It will lead to the formation of this product, which can of course be deprotonated to give you your ether, है ना. So the drawback of this method is that more than one products can be formed, है ना. And secondly, unsymmetrical ethers cannot be formed with this method, है ना. By look at this, you are using this alcohol, you are protonating it, and then the alcohol that attacks on this carbon atom is also the same alcohol. So it will of course lead to the formation of your symmetrical alkene, है ना. You cannot form unsymmetrical alkenes by this method. So this is one of the drawbacks of this method, है ना. One another drawback is that you cannot form ethers of 2 degree or 3 degree alcohols. Why? So suppose I have a 3 degree alcohol. So this question is very important. Suppose I have a 3 degree alcohol. Okay, what I will do is that I will protonate it. First step is the protonation. I am following this scheme only. ठीक है ना. I am following what? I am following this scheme. But now I am doing it with tertiary butanol. Okay. So once I protonated it, it will lead to the formation of this OH2 plus. I know that this OH2 plus is a good leaving group, and it will leave. It will lead to the formation of a very stable carbocation, which is your 3 degree carbocation. Okay. Now I know that this 3 degree carbocation can easily undergo elimination. Why it will undergo elimination? It will undergo elimination. Why? Because once elimination has occurred, the product formed will be an alkene, and this alkene will be a stable alkene. Why? Because it has more substituents, है ना. So as it will have more substituents, or I can say that it has 6 alpha hydrogens. So due to the presence of these 6 alpha hydrogens, this alkene is very stable, है ना. So we can say that 2 degree and 3 degree alcohols have more tendency to undergo dehydration. Why? Because that leads to the formation of the stable alkene, है ना. The elimination product is stable of 2 degree and 3 degree alcohols. That is why we say कि भैया these reactions will lead to the formation of your elimination product. They will not give you your desired product, which is the ether. Okay, so this method is not very helpful. So this is what they have told you here. The dehydration of secondary and tertiary alcohols to give corresponding ether is unsuccessful as elimination competes over substitution reaction, है ना. As a consequence, alkenes are formed easily, ठीक है ना. So this you must remember. I have explained it here. Okay. Now what is the method that is used, है ना. The method that is commonly used is Williamson ether synthesis. So for Williamson ether synthesis, I will tell you some points, है ना. And if you remember those, you will never forget what Williamson ether synthesis is. So 2 points that you have to remember is, first, you use alkoxide ion, है ना. You use alkoxide ion, and this alkoxide ion, we know that alkoxide ions are basic. Okay, so here we have to use them as a nucleophile. And second point that you have to remember is that this reaction has SN2 reaction, है ना. But Williamson ether formation will occur through SN2 reaction. This much we have to remember. Okay, so what happens is, suppose I have an alcohol, है ना, and I treat it with sodium. What will happen? It will lead to the formation of RO minus Na plus and H2. Hydrogen gas will be released. What is this? This is alkoxide, sodium alkoxide, है ना. So I have formed my alkoxide. Now what I have to do is that this alkoxide, I will be using it as a nucleophile, है ना, and I will do one SN2 reaction. So I have used this alkoxide ion, and I have this R-X, है ना, and I want SN2 reaction to occur. What will happen is that this RO minus will attack on this R-X, and this X minus will release, है ना. This is your SN2 reaction. So what will happen is that your product formed would be ROR-, and you will also form NaX. So here we know that once alkoxide has been formed, we can make it react with some different alkyl halide. So here we can form unsymmetrical ethers as well. In the earlier method, the drawback was you cannot form your unsymmetrical ether. Here you can form unsymmetrical ether, है ना. So this is, if you know this much, you will easily do your your Williamson ether synthesis. So here they have drawn this scheme. So they have taken this alkoxide and tertiary butoxide, and they have made it react with methyl bromide, and it leads to the formation of your product. Okay. Now one of the problems with this reaction is, suppose it gives you this product. It asks you कि भैया I have this CH3, this your tertiary butyl ether I have, and it says कि भैया you have to synthesize it. So some people say कि भाई what if I take this, what if I take this alkyl halide and I make it react with CH3O minus. By this is my alkoxide, and then what I will do is that I will do this SN2 attack. So this reaction will not occur. Why this will not occur? Because one of the reasons is that this is a tertiary alkyl halide, and we know that SN2 reactions are not feasible at tertiary centers. Why? Because the nucleophile cannot reach this carbon atom. It will face the steric repulsion of these 3 methyl groups. So what actually happens? What actually happens is that this alkoxide, as I have already told you right now, that this alkoxide does not always act as a base, does not always act as a nucleophile. It can also act as a base. It has a potential to act as a base. Okay. So suppose if I use this alkyl halide, this 3-degree alkyl halide, so I will have this proton here and I have this methoxide ion. So what this methoxide ion will do, instead of attacking on the carbon atom, which is very hindered, this carbon atom is very hindered, right? So what it will do, it will easily abstract this proton, and this will lead to the elimination product, and the product formed would be this. Okay. So here your ether formation will not occur. So to form your tertiary butyl ether, you always need the alkoxide of the larger alkyl group, and you need the alkyl halide of the smaller alkyl group. Why? Because if your alkyl halide will be smaller, then SN2 attack will be more favorable. Okay, so this is what they have shown ki bhaiya, if I take this alkyl bromide, this tertiary butyl bromide, and I make it react with methoxide ion, then elimination will occur. This is one of the problems that we face. So now let us try to focus on this example 11.6. What they have done is that here we have to do this reaction and it leads to the formation of this product. So exactly same thing that I have explained you right now. The following is not an appropriate reaction for the preparation of tertiary butyl ethyl ether. What should be the major product of this reaction? So if you do this reaction, it will lead to the formation of your alkene, so it will lead to formation of elimination. Why? Because this alkoxide will actually act as a base, and this is a 3-degree alkyl halide. So what will happen is that it will lead to the formation of your alkene. It will not lead to your substitution product. Why? Because this carbon atom is very sterically hindered, and this negative charge will not attack on this carbon atom. This attack will not occur. Okay, so it will lead to formation of elimination and your alkene will be formed. The major product of the given reaction is 2-methylpropanone, and here sodium ethoxide acts as a strong nucleophile as well as a strong base. So if it acts as a strong base, definitely elimination product will predominate. So now the next question says, write the suitable reaction for the preparation. Okay, so what will be the suitable reaction? You will form the alkoxide of the larger alkyl group, and then you will make it attack on the smaller alkyl halide. So once it will attack on the smaller alkyl halide, your desired product would be formed. Okay, so next thing, what if I take a phenol and I treat it with NaOH, what will happen? So once I treat phenol with NaOH, it will lead to the formation of sodium phenoxide. The same reaction, whatever we have done earlier, what we are doing is we are making alkoxide and then that is attacking on the alkyl halide. Here what we have done, we have formed the sodium phenoxide. Here we have formed sodium phenoxide, and that sodium phenoxide is doing SN2 attack. This is SN2 attack on alkyl halide, and it will lead to the formation of your phenyl ether. Okay, so for the rest of it, we will continue in the next lecture. In the next lecture, I will complete it. So try following all of it. If you are following the content, if you are following 1 or 2 videos, I don't think it will be that much helpful. Maybe it will be helpful for you if you already know everything. But if you are starting from scratch, then I think that you should watch all of the videos. I think if you take half an hour a day, it will take you about 5 to 6 days to complete, and you can also watch these videos on 2x. If you double the speed, then what will happen is that you will be able to understand more things. So some of the things you can skip. Suppose I know a particular mechanism, I can skip that part. Some of the mechanism which I don't know, I can understand that easily and slowly. So try doing it in this way, and we'll meet in the next lecture. Okay, chalo.